winner for me now. You're out. Who's going to win it?
I would have to say Robbie Bruins. Should I go for it?
Okay, we'll see. Kelly Brown forecasts Rob Bruins as the eventual winner of the U.S. Nationals, but he departs world champion.
Enjoying the best day of his long career is Larry Dixon. Larry made it to the winner's circle in 1970, winning the Winter Nationals. This is the best showing he's made since that time. The Candice and Hughes car driven by Richard Tharp in the winner's circle at this event just a couple of years ago. Richard Tharp, also a former world champion. Dixon a little bit ahead at the start. And at the finish line is Larry Dixon, 6.07 seconds. The Tharp slowing 6:14. 234 miles an hour the speed for Dixon, 233 for Tharp. Some of the closest racing ever seen in drag racing has been the feature of this 1978 U.S. Nationals. Here in slow motion, we can see Larry Dixon doing a fine driving job. The car starting to make a move towards the center line. He drove right away from it and pulled out the win in the speed trap. Larry Dixon getting his car ready to go back into the pits. A lot of preparatory work going on between each round of racing with these 2,000 horsepower top fuel dragsters. Fellow qualifier Dave Uyehara. The race of his life. This time he's matched against the man whose name is synonymous with top fuel racing, Big Daddy Don Garlits out of Sefner, Florida. Uyehara qualifying in with a 5.84 second elapsed time. The quickest time down this Indianapolis Raceway Park quarter mile. The team is called the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Their names are Velasco, Cohen, and Oswald. We asked which one is which.
He's good. He's bad. I'm ugly.
You got it. That's it. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And Dave Uyehara against Don Garlits. This is round number 3 racing in Top Fuel. A great start by Garlits. Uyehara all over the racetrack, and it's Big Daddy wire to wire, 5.91 seconds. His speed 242 miles an hour, but the story here is Dave Uyehara was just a little bit quicker. He ran 5.88 seconds at 243 miles an hour. Go back in slow motion, maybe you can pick it up. It's just hundredths of a second. You saw Garlits move first, and that's what counted at the finish line. Each lane of the racetrack, a separate racetrack with its own timing devices, and it records Garlits there first. Let's go to Steve.
Well, Big Daddy was a little late in the previous round, but he sure sharpened up for you, didn't he?
Sure did. He sure came in. Do you know what he ran?
He ran a little bit slower than you did. A 5.91, you ran a 5.88.
Oh, no.
You're a little teasing about that.
Yeah, probably, but we know this thing's a little slow leaving because of the Crower glide. We got a different kind of clutch in it than the rest of them.
One more race remains in Top Fuel, round number 3. And it is Rob Bruins driving Gaines Barkley's car. And you heard Kelly Brown, the man that won the World Championship by virtue of his performance at this meet, pick Rob Bruins to win it. Shirley Muldowney, though, has the different thought. She is the reigning world champion. She wants to win the Nationals. Watch closely to see if one car gets an advantage over the other at the start. Looks very close. Bruins all over the racetrack, but he gets there first, and that's what counts. 5.92 seconds for Bruins. His speed, 238 miles an hour. Shirley Muldowney, 6:01 at 229. Here again, let's go back and watch as Rob Bruins, the car dancing across his lane, has recorded a fine 5.88 previously in round number 2. This time a 5.91, and we'll go to Steve Evans.
Close race, Rob?
I was so far out of shape I didn't know where she was.
Were you worried about crossing the center line?
Yeah, the center line or hitting the guardrail, one or the other.
This has to be the finest moment in your career, even though we're just to the semifinals.
It's great. The car's running super, you know. We all know Gaines has been there, and Gaines knows how to make them run. All I got to do is hit the pedal on time.
I've been asking other drivers as they lose down here who they pick to win, and guess who? You.
Well, it makes me feel good. They've got, you know, the confidence in us, and I know the car's up to it if I can keep from messing up, I guess.
And Jeb Allen is hard at work in his pit area to try to prevent Kelly Brown's prediction from coming true. He has the distinction of racing the hot-running Rob Bruins in the semifinal round of Top Fuel. We'll be back with more racing from the U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis Raceway Park in just a moment. One of the greatest hazards facing a funny car driver is an exploding engine and subsequent fire. Steve earlier took a look at some of the safety precautions at the Nationals.
Dave, every time the funny car drivers suit up, so does a member of the NHRA safety safari in this special suit. Aluminized boots, a 3-layer suit, a sock for his head, a helmet to go on over that, and somehow the thought of a funny car fire is just a little less terrifying, knowing that Ronnie Wilson can go in and get the driver out.
And Ronnie Wilson was involved in one of the hottest fires ever seen at the Nationals. In qualifying, Gene Snow against Trip Shoemake. Shoemake qualified on this pass. He got very close to the center line, but that's not the story. The exploding engine is the story. You can see the parachute burned off. Ronnie Wilson headed towards the scene of the fire as Trip Shoemake fought to keep the car under control. All the emergency units rolled to the scene. Shoemake himself, using the onboard fire extinguishing system, knocked down the flames. The emergency crew getting to the scene just as he climbed through the emergency hatch on the top of the car. Some small fire still burning at the back of the car, obviously the parachute pack. In instant replay, we see the engine exploded just past the finish line. The parachute burned off, and that makes it doubly difficult to stop this car. He not only has to worry about the fire, he now has to worry, will the brakes stop it? Will the tires burn off? Can he hit the onboard fire extinguishing system? And right there you see with a big puff of smoke, that's just what he did. Here the parachute burns off. He's on the brakes. The car bounces. The big rear tires acting just like big rubber balls as the car bounces its way down the shutdown area with flames licking out from both the front and the rear of the car. The cockpit, relatively free of flames. That's due to the firewall system that is built into these fiberglass-bodied cars. Here he starts to lose control of it, but he regains it as Ronnie Wilson grabs his helmet and the safety safari truck heads to Trip Shoemake, driving for Johnny Loafer. As he qualified on this run, a very expensive qualifying pass, the engine literally destroying itself. The car relatively unharmed, a burned parachute pack. They've got a lot of work to do, but they qualified. In the first round of racing, we see the man that has dominated funny car racing throughout the past 3 years. 3-time world champion and the defending national champion, Don Prudhomme, against Pat Foster. Prudhomme left the starting line first. He got to the finish line first in the first round. 5.97 seconds, 245 miles an hour. That time, recorded in the first round of racing, equaled both the elapsed time and top speed national records, and is just an indication that Prudhomme may be headed to his second in a row national championship in funny cars. Foster, a very respectable run, but didn't stand a chance. Let's go to Steve.
Well, just when it appeared the field might be closing in, the snake comes up with low elapsed time and top speed. Did you hear the times in the PA just now?
Yeah.
5:97, 2:45.
It was nice. Yeah, God, it really felt good. The track is in excellent shape, and we just need to do about 3 more of those.
Why would the track come around on Monday morning? It was a little off during qualifying, other than in the very early portions when Raymond Beadle ran 5:98.
I don't know. You know, this track is tremendous, and they take such good care of it, NHRA and their crew and staff and everything. You know, they wash it and darn near shampoo the place before we run, and it's just in tremendous condition.
Still in the first round of racing, Ron Colson, driving the Hawaiian, ran against Billy Graham. Graham from Manhattan, Kansas, in the near lane, had a clutch explode, and you can see the parts and pieces bouncing on the racetrack. Colson taking an easy win as the clutch literally exploded inside the car. Once again, the safety safari crew racing to the scene. The car body being lifted up and Billy Graham himself getting out of the car. The crew quickly putting some water and fire extinguishing compound just to knock down any fire that may have occurred. Here you see the clutch explode in this cloud of dust in Billy Graham's $1 million baby. The safety requirements of the NHRA have just about eliminated the injuries as a result of clutch explosions. You can see some debris bouncing out onto the track, coming out from underneath the car of Graham. Graham himself absolutely uninjured, bringing the car to a safe